Lesson 56, Activity. 1. Introduction. The concept of activity in React offers a structured way to hide and restore both the user interface and the internal state of specific parts of your application. Instead of removing content from the component tree when it becomes temporarily irrelevant, activity allows React to hide that content visually while preserving its state and restoring it seamlessly later. This creates smoother interactions and avoids unnecessary re-renders. When we place a portion of the UI inside an activity boundary, React can hide its children by applying a visual change. At the same time, React cleans up any effects associated with those children so that no side effects continue running invisibly in the background. Despite being hidden, the components still respond to new properties with low priority updates. As soon as the activity boundary becomes visible again, React brings everything back exactly as it was. This makes activity a mechanism that allows a component to continue existing in the background without interfering with the rest of the UI. 2. Reference. Activity is used as a wrapper that controls visibility. When the boundary is hidden, React makes the children invisible while cleaning up effects. When the boundary is visible, the children reappear with their previous state intact. Activity expects two inputs, the content to show or hide, and the mode that indicates whether the content should be visible or hidden. There are a few caveats. For example, when activity is used inside certain advanced animation systems, the visibility changes may trigger animations automatically. And components that render only text have no DOM node to hide, so they simply disappear when activity hides them. But overall, activity is straightforward. It temporarily removes UI from sight while maintaining its internal memory. 3. Usage. 3.1 Restoring the state of hidden components. In many applications, we conditionally show or hide components by mounting or unmounting them. The issue is that unmounting erases their internal state entirely. Activity avoids this problem by hiding components instead of destroying them. The internal state is preserved exactly as the user left it. If a user expands a section inside a sidebar and later hides the sidebar, activity ensures the expanded state is restored when the sidebar reappears. This is ideal for user interfaces that collapse and reopen frequently but must maintain continuity. 3.2 Restoring the DOM of hidden components. React normally resets the state of DOM elements when the component generating them is removed. An example is a text box. If the component unmounts, any text written inside disappears. With activity, the DOM stays intact while the UI is hidden. That means any partially written text, scroll positions, or temporary UI values remain preserved. This behavior is extremely useful for tabbed interfaces or panels where users enter information but may navigate away temporarily. 3.3 Pre-rendering content that's likely to become visible. Another powerful use of activity is preparing content ahead of time. When an activity is hidden during its initial render, React creates its structure but doesn't mount effects. The content is invisible but pre-rendered. This means that as soon as the boundary becomes visible, the content loads almost instantly because any heavy work, like loading component code or initiating data requests supported by suspense, has already started. This technique is great for pages where the user is likely to interact with certain content soon, allowing for faster transitions without visible delays. 3.4 Speeding up interactions during page load. React has an internal performance optimization known as selective hydration, which determines which parts of a server-rendered page become interactive first. Suspense naturally participates in this mechanism by dividing the UI into independent sections. Activity boundaries behave similarly. They give React clues about which parts of the user interface can hydrate independently. Instead of forcing the entire page to hydrate at once, activity allows responsiveness to begin earlier, even before all components are ready. This improves performance in initial page load scenarios, especially when some parts of the interface take longer to become interactive. Activity can even be used purely for hydration optimization. You can wrap content in activity boundaries without ever hiding it, simply to allow React to hydrate the page in isolated sections for faster responsiveness. 4. Troubleshooting. 4.1. My hidden components have unwanted side effects. Although activity cleans up effects defined inside React components, it does not remove the underlying DOM nodes. This means anything the browser handles by default, such as playing audio or video, may continue even when the component is hidden. To prevent unwanted behavior, you must ensure that your components clean up any browser-controlled side effects when they're hidden. For example, a video continues playing because the DOM node still exists. In such cases, adding appropriate cleanup logic ensures that hiding behaves similarly to unmounting while still preserving state for restoration. 4.2. My hidden components have effects that aren't running. When activity hides its children, all effects inside those children are cleaned up. They only run again once the content is visible. This is intentional because hidden content should not continue to run subscriptions, timers, or observers. If your effect expects to run again on visibility changes, you must structure the logic in its cleanup function. Using strict mode during development is recommended because it helps surface any missing cleanup logic early, ensuring your components behave correctly when hidden.